He thought he was clever, juggling 2 girlfriends, lying to both of us, and living in her apartment while stringing me along with promises of a future. But when his secret came crashing down, so did his life, because together we didn't just break his heart. We destroyed every single thing he loved. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, you'll understand the fire that fueled this story. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share your own tale of revenge in the comments. Today's story isn't just about heartbreak. It's about poetic justice. 15 years ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I was in a 6-year relationship, the kind of long-term commitment that made people assume marriage was just around the corner. We were building a life together, or so I thought. He'd recently moved to another city for work, while I stayed behind to finish my studies. The plan was simple. He'd get settled, find a place, and then I'd move in after graduation. Long distance wasn't easy, but he came home almost every weekend, and we spent Christmas and New Year's together. I believed in him. I believed in us. By January, he was excited to show me the apartment he'd found. I visited, imagining our future there, our furniture, our photos on the wall, our routines blending together. I started job hunting in his city, even browsing furniture stores, to plan for our new beginning. But late February, everything shattered. I called him one evening to tell him it was time to terminate the lease on his old apartment back in our hometown. His response, calm, almost rehearsed. We need to break up. My stomach dropped. My ears rang. 6 years, just dismissed in a sentence. No explanation, no warning, just over. He swung by to collect a few clothes and one more thing. His beloved custom-built PC. That computer was his pride and joy, practically his firstborn child. He left with it, and I was left with confusion, tears, and a future I no longer recognized. 2 weeks later, the truth came crashing down. I logged into Facebook, and there it was, his profile picture, freshly updated. Him, smiling, lips locked with another woman. The caption didn't even try to hide it. They weren't new. They were together. I stared at the screen, heat rushing to my face. My heart raced. My hands shook. Had it really been just 2 weeks since he ended things with me? I couldn't believe it. I dialed his number. Fury replacing heartbreak. Who is she? I demanded. At first, he brushed me off, but eventually admitted he'd met her a couple months ago. He said it like it was nothing, like 2 months was an acceptable overlap after 6 years of commitment. But I knew he was lying. Something about the way he rushed off, claiming he was at the airport heading abroad with a buddy, told me there was much more to the story. And I was right. That night, rage and curiosity drove me to find her on Facebook. It wasn't hard, and I messaged her. At first, she didn't believe me. Why would she? To her, I probably looked like the bitter ex trying to stir up trouble. But I had receipts. I sent her screenshots of texts, photos, even descriptions of their apartment in detail. The kicker, a photo he'd sent me, a certain NSFW picture with her bedroom clearly in the background. Her reply was short. Okay, enough. I believe you. And then came the gut punch. She'd been dating him for 8 months. Not 2. 8. It all clicked. The reason he could spend 2 full weeks with me over the holidays was because she'd been traveling in Africa. December and January she was away. That's when he paraded me around the city, invited me to see our apartment, played house with me, and suddenly I wasn't alone in my anger. She and I compared notes, and what we found was almost comical in its cruelty. He had copied and pasted the exact same Valentine's Day message to both of us. He'd bought us the exact same Christmas gift. He was running his love life like a cheap, lazy con man. And worst of all, he thought we'd never find out. But we did. And we weren't about to let it slide. The other woman, let's call her Anna, was done with him the moment she saw the truth. But she wasn't just going to kick him out. No, we were going to make sure he paid. Anna started with his wardrobe. Every shirt, every pair of pants, every last piece of fabric he owned. She cut them into ribbons. Not neat, clean cuts. Jagged, savage tears that left his favorite outfits unrecognizable. She piled them in the middle of the floor, like the remains of a fallen empire. That's when I remembered the PC, that glorious high-end custom-built PC he cherished, more than almost anything else. He'd spent thousands on it, hours tweaking, upgrading, obsessing over every part. It wasn't just a computer, it was his identity. Anna, I said, don't just throw him out. Destroy the PC. She didn't hesitate. She armed herself with screwdrivers, hammers, anything that could smash, puncture, or shatter. Together, piece by piece, they annihilated it. The screen cracked. The motherboard shattered. Cables sliced. By the time she was finished, nothing was salvageable. And then came the grand finale. Sunday rolled around and he returned. From his trip, probably expecting a warm welcome, a girlfriend waiting with open arms, his double life continuing without a hitch. Instead, the moment he walked through the door, Anna was waiting. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She simply pointed to the pile of ruined clothes, gestured to the mangled remains of his precious PC, and handed him his reality. Then she told him to get out. No discussion, no compromise, no second chances. He left with nothing. The woman he thought he could juggle had exposed him. The girlfriend he thought he could replace had teamed up with his new one. His belongings obliterated, his pride shattered. And me? For the first time in weeks, I felt lighter. The image of him standing there, realizing everything he cared about was destroyed. Not just the women he betrayed, but his clothes, his status symbols, his beloved PC. It was perfect. Poetic justice. He played us both. But in the end, the only one humiliated was him. And the beauty of it all? He couldn't blame anyone but himself. Every lie, every smug decision, every copied and pasted love message. It all led here. Here's the truth. Betrayal doesn't just hurt. It dehumanizes. It makes you feel like you weren't enough, like your trust was a weakness. But when betrayal meets solidarity, when two people refuse to be victims and instead take control, that's when justice is served. So I want to hear from you. What's the most satisfying act of revenge you've ever witnessed? Drop it in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And if this story gave you that spark of satisfaction, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who knows betrayal burns, but revenge heals.